Welcome back to Speak Up Queen, the podcast where we empower, uplift, and celebrate women who have reclaimed their voices to inspire others. Today, we're thrilled to welcome Sasha Greenich, a certified intuitive mindset coach. Sorry, my Afrikaans brain is like, not today. And Gene Key specialist to the show. Sasha is a guiding light for women ready to overcome codependency, embrace self-love, and step boldly into their authentic self. Through her transformative programs, Sasha empowers women to rewrite their stories, live by their unique design, and create lives filled with independence and purpose. Her passionate expertise inspires women to break free from limiting patterns and truly thrive. Get ready to be uplifted and inspired by Sasha's wisdom, insights, and heart-centered approach to personal growth. Let's give a warm Speak Up Queen welcome.
Thank you. Love
Sasha.
that.
Sasha, what was the most challenging limiting belief you had to overcome, and how did breaking free from it help you reclaim your voice?
So the strongest limiting belief was that I couldn't do things. I'm a big dreamer. I always have been. And it was really just this belief of that's not for me, that's for somebody else. And having people perpetuate that out of love, out of all things. It's not so much all the haters and things like that. It was really just having people out of love being like, no, you're right. Like, stay safe and do this thing. So there is a lot of like we have these paradigms, and I've had this constant paradigm like being enough. And in a loving way, people would say to me like, you're definitely enough, but anything higher than like a huge dream is something maybe you just need to play it safe because you're not capable of doing that. And the second I really just shoved past all of that BS, I was able to surpass. A lot of people were saying, "Oh, maybe you should you college." I remember a guidance counselor, like a counselor that helps you in school, say, "Oh, I don't know if you should go to college or university." Or something like that, like, "You could do that." I remember her saying that, and school at the time was something that I really struggled with, and I was like, "No, I'm going." And I got in, did a fantastic job in college, and, so it's just a testament of, now anybody saying that you're not enough, you're not good enough, or you can't really do that. I'm like, oh, hold my drink. Here we go. I'm like, nope, I'm going to do this for me, you know? So those are some limiting beliefs. And that's me tethering my capability and my happiness to the thoughts of others, which is absolutely crazy to me now.
It is just so strange how we start believing all of those things, and that someone's word can really change our future. That can make the path to whether we are going to become this amazing human being, or are we going to be in a journey where we are having to relearn our worth. So it's really it takes courage to break free from all of these limiting beliefs, and your story is just so amazing. I'm glad you didn't listen. I'm glad that you showed.
Oh,
um
same here.
Sasha, can you share a moment when someone's words or actions made you feel small, and how you found the strength to rise above it?
Oh, well, besides that point, and that was a shame because it was so young. I was 16 or 17. Um, but as I began doing this business, really, it's amazing again how people will step up and just out of love, but it's almost like a sabotage of how they almost derail, like, "Oh, that's a big risk. You have a really nice job right now, and, like, let your husband kind of help out and, like, do these things if you feel like you don't have enough. Um, Again, it is just really going in and just finding that, that energy, that strength to just be like, absolutely not, you know, and at first, before the coaching business, I was in a what they call a network marketing business, which is hard enough. It already has a reputation of its own. And then but it was something that I was passionate about. And it's really amazing when it's something somebody else can't um, resonate with or they don't like. Um, or they see the success is too hard something for them, so they want kind of almost want to um either sabotage, depending on the motive of that sabotage, or just kind of try and keep keep us safe. And so that was like a pivotal time, because although I'm not doing that anymore, it just went to show that this isn't something that, success isn't something that or dreams is something that you don't share with just anybody. It's something that you really have to hold tightly to yourself, or just the circle of people that are, either have what you want. So now the success that I want, I will never listen to a friend or somebody that nowhere near has anything that I want, like the success, the circle, everything. I no longer subscribe to that. So I think that's something that is so, so important, is to hold your dream so tight against you. And it's not something to share. You can kind of put a little something out there for them to kind of nibble on, but they will always, whether it's out of sabotage for some people, unfortunately, or really some of it is, like, out of love, like, "Oh, are you sure you wanna do that?" And the lower version of myself, like, years ago, would have just been like, "Oh, no, you're right.
Mm,
You're absolutely right.
mm.
I won't do that." And I to this day, like, looking back, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how many more things, um, did I pass up out of fear, or somebody else's? It wasn't even mine."
Yeah, that's so true. I always say we are getting opportunities. When we've got this crazy idea, it's yours.
Mhm.
It's been put on in your brain for you to go. And then sometimes yeah, people don't see what we bring to the room, so or to the table. So it's just like not listening to that anymore. It's such a great breakthrough for us when we start doing the things that we actually love doing.
Absolutely.
Sasha, what safety resources, spaces, or tools have been most impactful for your healing journey?
The Gene Keys in Human Design, hands down. Um, I learned a lot from my coach, and before I would say there was a lot of teachings and unlearnings and deconditioning and things like that that I've learned, but where it hit home, and really narrowed in what it was that I was here to do, was that. Because those tools leave no questions, no stone unturned, nothing. It is straight, this is your map, this is your path. This is who you be. This is who you are. And this is what you're meant to do. So, all of us are searching high and low. What is it that I'm here to do? Some of us are great and they've followed their intuition and they're right where they need to be. Uh, but they really we could always do more and up level and be more. Um, but that was it. That was the tool, because I was always, even since I was little, I was like, I knew this was there. I knew that I was here to help people. I did get a degree in psychology. I have worked in special education in a school for 20 years, and that's helping people. And it is rewarding, especially as of late, working with students with autism. But I was made for more, this like bigger. And this really showed me the impact that I'm here to create and what it is that I'm here to do, and to actually feel comfortable finally saying, like, I'm a leader, and, like, and being able to own it and not be like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm a leader, but it says I am." Like, I'm a leader. And so that has been the tool that has helped me set boundaries with people. Again, holding my dreams close, because it's like, you have nothing that I want. You do. I literally have my own design that I study now. And I always say it is absolutely wonderful what, you're doing, what everybody else is doing. And 5 years ago, it would be like, oh, maybe I should do something like that. But maybe, but really there I have a path, and, like, if it's really not aligning into what I'm doing, then no, that's not what it is. And so through studying myself, and when these paradigms come up and everything else, I'm almost 95% likely to go into my design. And the only other person that I would really talk to about any problems or paradigms or anything that comes up is my coach, who will redirect me back to my design, because that's where all my answers are. They're no longer outside of myself. And so that has been an absolute game changer personally and professionally. Um, it's I know people, a lot of people feel it's very esocent, just very like woo and spiritual kind of things, but it can be used very practically in day to day and in business, and it just changes the game all around.
And that's the thing about us getting to know yourself and showing up as yourself. There's so many resources out there, but you will know exactly, your body will tell you what is aligned with you and what is not. You will know, okay, I can try these things, but always know
Mhm.
that you've got the answers. You will know exactly what will work for you and will not work for you. Especially if women is just starting out on their healing journey and they don't know where to start. There's so many resources out there. Try them. If it doesn't work for you, don't feel bad about it. Because not everyone is born to fit in. We are not born to fit in. We are here to stand out in
Mhm.
our own authentic way and showing up as our authentic selves and just being us. So yeah, that was just amazing how you said it, that your design and I just loved it. I just loved
Yeah.
this
It's
thing.
it's it's perfect. It's You don't have to go anywhere else. It's just, and like you said, even if you're looking at different modalities and things like that, and if it doesn't work out, you're stepping out. So just by doing that, you're going to be fed the next thing and the next path. Like, and that seems, that seems to be what keeps happening. I'm almost impatient now, at this point, like, okay, if something doesn't work, yes, I can get disappointed, but I'm like, oh my gosh, okay, that didn't work. What's next? What's next? Because I did learn something from that. And that's something really important, but it also moves the needle forward, and at least you can rule out, certain things. So I think that's really important. There's no failure. It's kind of like you just kind of learned something new, or something that, like, you can just kind of rule out, which is amazing.
I am always like, I can't wait to fail, because if I fail, I'm gonna learn something, and that
Yeah,
is good. And like you said, you're moving, because there's no failure. There is just feedback. That's the
yeah.
only. There's just feedback. So yeah, it's just let's fail. Let's fail quickly so that I can move forward.
Yes, yes.
Sasha, what was the first step you took to move from feeling silence to finding your voice? And how did that step change your life?
So moving on from now, learning my gene keys, you also find a part of yourself that you don't get, that's like has been unconscious, but you really haven't like, you're like, "Oh my gosh, is that me? Really?" So what started to happen was, for around that time, there was still confusion in my who I really wanted to help and, what I was starting to get the picture of, like, who like, where I was going, who I'm helping. But the turning point really was just, sharing my experience, and that was something that I really wanted to hide because my experience has been pretty hard, especially with, vulnerability and relationships with people. Even now, the relationship with my husband, I'm very open about that it's not everything is cookie cutter and not everything is great, and and just teaching and showing people standing in your power and and just following your design. I hardly yield anymore to a lot of people, not out of stubbornness or anything like that. It's just like this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I'm where I'm meant to go. This is how I'm now operating, and especially seeing a whole nother part of myself that needs attention because we got to really keep moving forward. It's really important that that I just that I stood in that and really got to learn just kind of how to stand in that and in that power. So I really, it all comes back to that. It's just kind of that self um just that self-love, self-information, learning um more about myself and, standing in that.
That's going, it's like you already touched the next question. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to hear this part. What's one powerful lesson you've learned about self-worth, and how do you carry it with you as you continue to grow and inspire others?
Oh gosh, self-worth. Well, now I have tons of it, and I have a lot of patience for myself. So when I'm looking at myself, I see all parts. So it's not just like, "Oh, these are the gifts and the potential that I have and the potential." But again, learning from those moments, why they're showing up and having a name for them, for having a name for these shadows, exactly what I know is going to come up, and being able to now and be much more intuitive, um, to kind of to see this stuff coming and having more grace for myself. So the self-worth I have is much more empathy for myself, and knowing that I'm worthy and more than capable. So even when I am what in Gene Keys they call it your shadow, even when I'm in that, I still know that I'm worthy. And typically, like, okay, you're in this spot because something is out of alignment. Let's check in with that. Let's check in with, like, all right, is this going well? Is that not going well? Is someone here that should not be or is acting out of alignment? Do you need to remove that or the person or things like that? Because anything that disrupts that self-worth now, or tries to challenge that and kind of push me out of alignment. It's more not more people pleasing, which is what I used to do before. Like, they're hurting me, but I'm still cognizant of their feelings. It's like a no, it's this boundary of, all right, I'm going to take myself out of this relationship because, they have their own design, their own paradigms, and that's what really setting that boundary is. And so I have so much more self-worth and respect for myself, um, by taking care of myself and really looking in and intuitively being aware of my needs and not allowing anybody to place a worth on me anymore. Like, it's like, great opinion, have fun with that. I'm, we like, and then I just do an assessment, like, or if you don't, nobody has to be anywhere. You don't have to be in your relationship. You don't have to be in your friendship. They can go, you know? And so that's it. I really think just respecting myself, and for the first time in my life since I was like 35 and this started to kind of come about, I love myself, and that comes with a lot of, once you can, like, confidently say that, anything anybody else says is, absolute crap. So it's
Yep.
yeah.
It's just something amazing to experience when you start believing in yourself and when you start loving yourself. It is like, what have I been missing for such a long time? Why did I let
Absolutely.
other people's opinions? Oh, it's just a
Right.
releasing and letting go. And it's like,
Yes.
yeah,
And the right people come in. The right people, like, the amount of, people that if I had continued to act that way would not really, kind of I wouldn't have attracted those really healthier people, or, successful people, or more loving people. And to just let that mask kind of fall away, because to try and suit someone, you're always wearing a mask. You're not being your authentic self. And so it's a take it or leave it with me now. Um, because I do. I love my quirkiness. I always feel sad for myself as a kid who just was a dreamer and was weird and just loved her, imagination. And I just could think, like, oh my God, as of course, kids are cruel. Like, as you get laughed at, as you get whatever, you start to say, okay, I don't have that many friends. Let me conform. Um, and there's part of me that, like, just wishes that I just said, screw it. Like, let me just be that weird, weird kid. And I would have found other weird kids that were just as funny and as quirky and as amazing as I was. So, in adulthood, I'm trying to kind of bring that back and just kind of take that back. And I have met amazing people that are, linking arms and doing incredible things and supportive. So, note to everyone to do that. Love yourself, your people will come.
Sasha, if you could tell your 17-year-old self one thing, what would it be and why?
Oh, I would definitely say, and this was like a hard question to answer when it was asked me, is what do you want? And it actually, when my coach had asked me, um, it took me a year because to answer, because I kept thinking, "Oh, no, that was what my parents wanted of me. Oh, no, that's kind of what you know, that's what my husband wants for me," and things like that. And the same thing would be, that 17-year-old self. I went to college. That was like a check. Got married, check, got a job, check. And it would be to really think about what it is that you want. Maybe it would have been a different school, even then it was like, oh, great, you're going to school. Why don't you go to a smaller school where you might be more successful, or it'd be easier for you? So I went to a smaller school, so it would be to really dig deep and say, what is it that you want to do? Maybe, if no fear and no one else telling you what to do, start to think about what it is that you want out of your life and what you want to study and where you want to go and travel and things like that. Um, and I think for so long, like, everything was controlled. And college was great. It was great freedom, but, like, I would tell myself to be free and to really go back and to find that quirkiness again and find that freedom and find find yourself, reconnect back to yourself, find it, find it, because it's not in your parents, um, and it's not like in, at the time my husband was my boyfriend, like a lot of things. And it would have changed the trajectory of my life. But these things happen for a reason. Literally in my design, I'm meant to fail my way forward and make mistakes and do the entrepreneurial way. That's how I'm designed. So I've learned to accept that part of me. But yeah, if I could do it and there were no things, that's what I would do, is really to find my own voice again, and to find my own way.
How do you set boundaries to protect your energy and peace? And what have you learned from this practice?
So the most important thing in boundaries is, I think people expect, they see boundary as something that you want the other person to do. So if I wanted my husband to stop, I don't know, let's say he was a smoker and I wanted him to stop smoking, I can't say to him, stop smoking, it's bad, like blah blah blah, and just kind of go and stating what I want. It's more of a, if you continue to smoke, I what is it that I'm going to do? I am going to leave.
Mm.
I am going to whatever. It's what you're doing and how you're showing up. So my boundary now, and I hold firm on them. Like I am willing to lose people. I'm willing to lose opportunities. I'm willing to lose things because of what I'm going to do. So what's important is how you're showing up, and if something is not acceptable, what is it that you're going to do? Everybody needs to be cognizant that everybody else, just like you have paradigms and like shadows and everything in your design, and that's hard enough for you, they have that too. So what is it that you're going to do? Because you can only control yourself. And so that is how I've been setting boundaries with people. It's, if somebody doesn't like something, I really do try to respect that. Um, you know, but if it's something that, this is the, like, a lot of people now, because I'm still in this new Sasha age, it's hard for some people, and some people are trying to hang in there, and because I don't think even they realized how controlling they have been. And I will just hold my boundary and just say, if you continue to talk to me this way, I'm going to, I'm going to leave, or I'm not going to, I don't feel comfortable. I'm not going to hang out with you. I don't say stop talking to me like that, or, if you do, this is what I'm going to do. And now we don't have a relationship anymore, or maybe we need a break. It's always something that I'm going to do. So, because that's all you can control. And that's how I set those boundaries now with everybody. There's no exception to really anybody.
And like you said, it is what you want, not what they want, what you want.
Right.
I
That's
love
your
it.
power. Yeah.
How do you stay grounded when challenges comes up now compared to before?
Oh gosh. Well, how do I stay grounded now? I have to really check in. I do check-ins now with myself. Um, So I can get overwhelmed sometimes, which is a choice. um, it's definitely a choice where you just kind of get overwhelmed, and or a lot of things come up, or if I start to get really overstimulated or something, I don't ignore them now, because the conditioning that we have in our society is, it's like, oh, you must be doing something right because you have so much work and you have so much stuff going on. Keep going, and then crash and burn. And then all of a sudden, that's when everybody's kind of like, oh, you're failing, you're this, you're that. Um, I do a check-in. So, like I talked about with those shadows, I have two that are really important that come up. So when I see this sort of coming, like, inertia and indifference. So if I'm starting to get overwhelmed and I start to notice that I'm kind of slowing down a lot, not in a good way, like because I'm going to stop or burn out. And if I start to say, "Oh, I don't really care. I don't really care." Like those are like red flags now where I'm just like, "Okay, something's coming up. You're overwhelmed. How can we start to manage this?" Slow down, stop putting either things on the calendar or you need more self-care time. And it's a check-in. Whereas before I wanted so badly those accolades and those validations of, oh my God, look at how hard she works. Look, see that? And she's doing so great. And you know what? I got more work.
Yes.
And I've been told that, you I'm sorry we're doing this, but you're such a great worker, and we know you can handle it, so we're gonna give you more work because you're so good at what you do. And there I go, I'm being pushed further to that limit. So before, that's how that would happen. I check in now. Whatever I can put a stop or a hold on for certain things, I do until that energy comes up, whether it's going more for walks or if I'm like noticing, oh my gosh, I've been really sitting too long, or I haven't been getting out, I haven't been doing things. It's a lot more self-care where I can get it, um, to make sure that I'm okay. Because before when I used to really crash like that, it would be like weeks, a month, 2, and it was deep and dark and hard to get out of, and woe is me and things like that. Now I respect it, and say, "All right, what's coming up? What's going on? Like, what you have control. You have control. You can say no. You can, you can kind of slow things down. It's okay. This is," and I know exactly now when it comes up, and then it's just like I will say, like, "No, I can't do this. No, I don't want to do that. Can I do this another time?" And I'm really checking in more instead of just saying yes, because I'm respecting myself more than and it's actually respecting the other person too. I've kind of used to say, "Oh, it's, I'm putting myself first," but it's respecting them because if I showed up and I kept pushing myself and I'm on the brink of burnout, I'm not doing my best work for anybody anyway. And so it is not kind of, it's more respectful to them too if I take that break.
It is because I know for a fact with me starting this podcast, I'm awake from 3:30 in the morning till 9:30 at night. So
Oh
I'm
my
only
goodness.
sleeping 6 hours a night, and my body, the last week, my body was so tired that I needed to go to bed at 3 o'clock in the afternoon to go and sleep because I couldn't
Yeah.
move anymore. And that's when I realized, Marika, your mission is amazing. You are on a mission to have 100 interviews by the end of December, but you need to take care of yourself. And I was like, I can't show up tiredly every day for the women that's showing. So now, after each interview, I am getting back into bed. I'm putting on
Yes.
meditation and I'm sleeping for that 15, 20 minutes,
Yes.
getting some energy, and I feel so much better. But I needed to listen to my body. I needed to know that there's no competition. No one is chasing me. No one is standing with a whip behind me and saying, move, 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 move. I am my
Yeah.
own personal person, and I can do I'm my own boss of my own life. And it's if,
Right.
like you say, if we are overwhelmed, it was decisions that made us come that far. We could
Yeah,
have, I could have
and
said
our
no.
body will stop us. It will stop us. It's happened to me. We get sick, we mentally or emotionally break down. Eventually, your body will just stop you. It will just stop you. So, especially with sleep. So it is just so important to just kind of be aware and that you'll get there. You'll get there. It's putting yourself first, but we have to do it, like, in a healthy kind of way, so
I just laughed when you talked about these things, and I was like, oh, that was definitely
Oh,
last week because it was like so scary that I've pushed myself to that limit. And I'm like,
yeah.
nope. Now I am like just reaching out to all the speakers that raised their hands, and I'm like, can we move it a little bit later? Can we move it a little bit earlier? And the thing for me was a few 5 years ago, I would have been so scared to do that because what would the people think? What if they don't say they want to cancel? And now I am like, these people are respecting my time. They know it because then that environment 5 years ago and the people I hanged out 5 years ago and the people the women and the queens that I'm hanging out now, we are in a different level. We are like we're respecting each other. We have boundaries in place. We all have these things that it's a take and a receive. We know how to communicate and say, I'm tired, Queen. I am really struggling here. I'm overwhelmed. And it's not that judgment of, oh, she's always tired. It's like, Queen, take care of yourself. You need to
Yeah.
take, it's just small things like that where your environment, when you're starting your healing journey, you are rising up because you are a queen. You are rising up and you are in rooms full of amazing women out there that is just amazing. Like
Mhm.
seriously, all of you that's coming onto this show is like I am learning every time I have you on a speaker on for an interview. I'm learning something new about myself and about
Mhm.
the person, and I'm like I'm so grateful that I did say yes to just start this Pick Up Queen podcast without any knowledge or anything, but I just did it anyway because now it's leading me towards a place in my life where I am surrounded by more badass, powerful queens
Yes.
in the world. That's the amazing part of this is you are meeting amazing, extraordinary people, and yeah, it's just I love it.
Crazy. I know. I know.
Mm. Sasha, how do you define thriving today? And what mindset shifts or practices help you embrace that definition?
Oh God. Thriving today. I'm living my design, which is so, so beautiful. I know my purpose. I, it's amazing when you actually just know that and you have a goal and you show up for that every day. Um, and like the mindset that comes with that is just the education of everything that we talked about. It's just at your, at your worst, you have an empathy that you just would never have had before, especially when you take everybody else's thoughts and emotions out of it, and you put yourself first. It's not that you're disregarding anybody else's feelings or emotions, but when people really need to hone in on this, when you respect yourself first, right? It's they say put that oxygen mask on first. You Although many people won't understand it at the time, you're doing them such a great service by taking care of you first. And the best example is as a mom that I used to put them first all the time. And then and my mom, that's how we all kind of grew up. And then I just started doing things for myself. It started off small with hair and nails or, something like that. And then going away with my best friend for like a weekend. Some people were like, "Oh, why would you, do that?" Because I'm not mom, I'm Sasha.
Mm.
I'm this person's best friend. I am also a mom, but when I came back refreshed. So it's a mindset of taking care of myself and meeting my needs. And now that I have knowledge of this whole unconscious part of myself that is much more adventurous and much more willing to go and try things and go to new places and not fear of doing anything by herself, It's amazing, and I have to honor that. I really do. So the mindset is really taking care of me, first. And now I say, if anybody calls me selfish, I am on the right track. I
Yes.
am that means I am like, I must really be taking care of myself. Because I always turn around and with my time that I do have, when I am healthy and at my top emotional state, I'm turning around and helping others. And that's what I choose to do with my time. So it's a really positive kind of 360 kind of circle going on. So yeah, I that's where everything is at. My healthy mindset really helps others um you know live that as well.
Sasha, the last question. What made you decide to be featured on Speak Up Queen? And how does it feel knowing that there's a safe space for women to share their stories and inspire others?
So this is it's amazing, and I really wanted to come on here because I think a lot of the points that I had are really, really important. And yes, being a safe space, it's just, everyone needs to realize we hear this, it's cheesy, but we are all not perfect, but that's what makes us amazing, and that is the breakthrough, it's this pivotal point right before the breakthrough, so it's not to give up, but I hope that your vulnerability and, and where you're at now, you could see that there's a whole beautiful potential out there, and that's what I really wanted to share, is that we are so uniquely designed, and I wanted to share that there is a map for that, and that there's no guru or Kardashian or social media person out there, that Tony Robbins, if you're in finance, I don't know, that is going to sit there and know you down to your last paradigm or up to your last highest self. There is something so, so special about you, and you really need to hear that, and that everybody around you is not going to have the answers. It's just so important to share that. In that it's okay to feel the way we feel, because a lot of people are being disregarded, or just being controlled. And I think it's really important to really start to try and decondition, and to really think about what it is that you want. And if you're thinking about certain things, like, some people might say, I want a really big house. Why? Like for me, I used to say that. And now I say, if I could have, and people still say beach house and things like that, but if I had a little bungalow or like a little house on the beach, because the beach is my happy place, could be like 3 bedrooms, I have 2 kids, room for me too, for them, and to just be able to walk out every day, and self-care of just walking on the beach and things like that. Change your mindset. What is it that you want? So for me, it's not a big house anymore by the beach, it's something so small and something so intimate. Um, and there are some materialistic things, but really when it comes down to it, it's just that it comes down to a freedom. So it's really thinking about, asking this question of, what do you want? And for a while, it's just going to be what, your partner, or, something that was always asked of you, or what people thought, or think you should be doing. Should is a very bad word. Like, you should do this, you should do that. Really look deep, because it's probably something so simple, or even if it is extravagant, it might just be your happy place. It could just be something, the reasoning why might not be so superficial. And I really implore people to ask, what is it that you want?
Thank you so much, Sasha, for sharing your incredible journey with us today. Your story is a testament to the strength, resilience, and courage it takes to not only heal, but to thrive. So, to everyone listening, remember that your voice matters, your story matters, and together we can inspire change. If today's episode touched your heart, please subscribe, leave a comment, and share this with someone who really needs to hear this today. Until next time, Queens, keep speaking up and stepping into your power.